let's get into this pre-show banter shit. Let's start warming up, guys.
What you got
Let's
for us?
let's kick it off here with topic number one, and it's going to be an announcement that was made by John Gooden during yesterday's broadcast. We are officially all the way back with the old gloves. After a brief trial run of the newly formulated shitty gloves, we've now officially transitioned fully back to the old gloves. Now, does it have something to do with John Jones? I don't know. What's that kind of implications does that have for him? I'm not sure. But do you guys got any thoughts on this development? Mouse, let's go to you first. Any thoughts on these old gloves being back for good?
Yeah, well, it was kind of announced before Christmas, if I remember rightly. The stats bear it up. The UFC had one of its crappiest years, I think, for knockouts last year. So yeah, decent swap. Let's get them all back. The fighters didn't seem to like them very much. They weren't getting the knockouts. Throw them in the bin, start again, go back to the old stuff until you get the balls to buy Trevor Whitman's the license to produce those, or rather you pay Trevor Whitman so you can use his gloves, because that's the solution that everyone that wears those gloves seems to talk about. So yeah, no big surprise. Glad to hear they're sticking with it. All props to the UFC, I guess, for actually having the decency to change it back, because there's other companies that would just go, no, these are the new gloves, you will get to fucking like them, son. And fortunately the UFC hasn't done it, so yeah, top marks.
It'll be interesting to see, because the one thing that I did like about the old new gloves was the differentiating between the different shows, like Contender Series having their own gloves, the Road to UFC having their own gloves. I didn't like the gold gloves per se, but I did like the championship gloves being different. So it would be interesting to see, even if they're going back to the old gloves, can we still see some changes in the color patterns? But
Yeah, let's see
Austin, what do
changing the color of the leather shouldn't really be a big issue, I wouldn't think.
Austin, what do you think about the old gloves being back for good?
I realized that we cared enough about the gloves, but
Austin,
the truth of the matter is that this is. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. Like, here's the truth of the matter. Okay,
proud of you.
this is the UFC. This is the UFC doing the thing where let's see if we can make it for cheaper and possibly different than what we've been doing. And they tried. They outsourced to a company that made the gloves an ounce lighter and with less material. That was their innovation.
And still failed
You
to
can
get
tell. Yeah, because you can tell they did the thing where you could see some of the imprints. You know how it says UFC on the glove, right? Would fall off in some of the fights. It's like, what are we doing here? But you can tell, like Lazy said, that they tried differentiating different matchups. You know, the Contender Series had their own style of gloves, or I said color. I should say color. The UFC regular fights, all you could tell the difference in the gloves a little bit, whereas the main title fight gloves were all gold. I felt like it should have been silver for the challenger and gold for the champion, but that's just me. But either way, I mean, doing something different is never the issue. It's the execution of how you do it. Like, that was the issue, because it just seemed like, let's see if we could differentiate it by making it cheaper.
Yeah, it seemed
this,
really
this was the result.
haphazardly done. Like they didn't put a lot of real planning into it. It seems like.
Yeah,
'Cause,
well, you all mocked me for the curse of the gloves. Who was proved right? It was Nostradamus again. They changed the fuckers back.
I didn't say it was because of the gloves that they were or were not. I just said, let's just get more information is all. And you were proven right, but at what cost?
Well, Dave, since it's the pre-show, you want to jump in here? You got any thoughts on the gloves?
Yeah, like Austin, I don't care at all. You do bring up a good point about the color of the gloves. That would be cool to see the, use the old gloves with the new color.
Yeah.
The new gloves aren't cheap. Certainly, I think someone said they were cheap. I don't know if they're talking about the old gloves, but the new gloves are actually super expensive. And I know they did have issues with the labels coming off on the old gloves. Either way, I don't care. I think that 50 fights or 50 fight nights or however many, they didn't have near enough data to come to like a legit conclusion on them. But following Austin's lead, I don't care at all.
Yeah.
The colors would be nice. So,
It's
because
just
I like
interesting.
different colors.
Yeah, I do hope that they stick with the color schemes. I mean, like I said, maybe get away from the all solid gold gloves on the championship fights. Austin's idea is not bad, but I would like to just see like maybe a black gold, the classic black gold, glove with a gold trim, gold UFC logo, something like that. But
Yeah.
they seem to think it's a big deal because I mean they fucking, like I said, they brought it up during the broadcast, so they must think we care. Hey guys, we're back to the old gloves.
Well, I don't.
The issue was
And neither
never
does
whether or
Austin.
not
Me
we
and Austin
wanted
don't
duck
care.
gloves. No, it's
Austin
not. Again,
specifically.
it's not that I didn't hate the idea of them doing
I'm following
stuff.
your
It
lead,
was just
Austin.
either.
I agree with you.
I know. I agree. No. My
Team
whole thing
Austin
was
and
is
Dave.
like, why couldn't we have done it better? Like, what was the point of doing the gloves if we were going to do it better? Like, they literally just outsourced, and it's like, yeah, do it less expensive is what it felt like.
Well, they're more
That's what I'm
expensive.
saying.
They're more expensive.
I mean,
though.
they were literally an ounce less, so by definition, they were using less material.
But different material quality.
I mean, what was it? Leather versus super leather?
Yeah, there's like a million different kinds of leather, Austin. I don't.
I would love to
figured-
see the spreadsheet.
This is actually perfect, though. This is a perfect transition to the next topic. Speaking of different types of leather and old leather, the next brief topic, and oh man, this is a hilarious one. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, chances are no, but this morning there was a press conference for the upcoming BKFC Italy show. And at this press conference, you know who was there? Our boy Conor McGregor. And while he was there, he teased a possible signing for the BKFC, and it's one that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. Old Connie claims the BKFC is in the works for a Fedor Emelianenko fight. Ah, I don't know. What do you guys got for me on this? No special? What do you think? Fedor and BKFC. Fucking 75-year-old Fedor. You don't want to see that? You want to see that? Senior citizen get fucking pummeled.
Who was asking for this? Why were you doing this?
I have
I
no
don't
fucking
have a
clue.
comment. I'm just more flabbergasted that this was the thing we're doing. Oh my fucking
You're gonna pull
god!
up the exact quote now because you're gonna make. I want to tell you what Connor said. Connor said, "Stay tuned. We might have an announcement with Fedor Emelianenko. Hey Fedor, we're waiting. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is signing and acquiring the best fighters of all time, and that includes fucking this old motherfucker right here, Fedor Emelianenko."
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Uh-huh.
Like, is he just trying to copy the? Is it just trying to copy the GFL? What are we doing here?
Just trying to steal him before GFL get him or what?
Maybe. Could be. GFL is the future of combat sports. BKFC might be trying to get in there and snatch away their fucking big stars. Let's see what we can milk out of this rock that fucking we call Fedor. God,
What was the reasoning for it though? Like,
I don't even know. The context. Like, I don't know the context of it. I don't know if he just brought it up out of the blue or what. But I saw the headline and I was like, "What? Fedor? Like, didn't he get knocked out in his last like 5 fights?"
No.
Oh
no.
yeah, because it was
No, he didn't get knocked out in his last 5 fights. This is brilliant. It's brilliant. And he beat Tim Johnson, and he beat Chael Sonnen in his last 5-fight run.
That's right. Yeah,
he lost to Ryan Bader.
That's what it was. That was the last one.
But it's perfect signing because you got these other dudes in GFL that are probably not going to fight, and even people on the GFL roster get to do shit in other promotions. So we finally get JDS versus Fedor, BKFC. Everyone wins.
God damn it! I'd probably watch that. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone wins.
Yeah.
Who does he fight in BKFC though?
Well, JDS is coming off a BK MMA fight, and
I think they have more strict contracts, if I'm not mistaken.
he's in GFL, so he can probably just go do whatever
Nothing
he
is
wants.
official in GFL. That's the thing.
It's
That's
brilliant.
Like saying,
also, the merchandising rights. You get the Fedor sweater with like
my only thing on this.
the
My only thing on
BKFC
this
crack
is that
lady on it.
it's like the slap fighting where okay, we know where a majority of the clicks are coming from, I think, or where it's bigger because Russia seems to have a big emphasis on just ridiculous combat sports, right? The home of the 5v5, 30v30 field fights, right? Or,
That's
just
the saddest.
ridiculous.
That's sort of the saddest part about all this, though, is because I could actually see this happening. Like, this could actually fucking happen.
Well, it sounds kind of like wishful thinking a little bit, like he's kind of shooting a shot almost, not like
true.
But
I could
mean,
just.
Why not?
I could see the fight poster in the announcement now. Like and I'll be very upset, but I will watch.
Well, it's like you can do like Werdum. You can do a rematch with Werdum. They'll probably do something stupid like Fedor versus Rothwell. But
that's the only other fight you could do right now, right? Because if they sign him, he's your heavyweight champion, and Fedor is a name, and I don't believe they fought.
Well, they still got what's his face
Okay.
out there, Elvis tattoo guy.
Jesus Lord. All right.
No,
all right,
he's
guys.
with BKFC MMA, or the one that Masvidal runs.
Belcher.
We got approximately 9 minutes left in this pre-show banter, so let's move it on to the final topic of the day for this little warm-up. And it's going to be in regards to the upcoming return to Seattle for the UFC. Now, what was looking to be one of the better fight nights of the year has quickly taken a turn for the worse. Allow me to rattle off some of these fight cancellations. Ketlin Vieira versus Macy Chasson, Edson Barbosa versus Steve Garcia, Adam Fugit versus Islam Dulatov, Curtis Blades versus Riznan Kuniev, Mansur Abdul Malik versus Antonio Ciccoli, and Dom Cruz versus Rob Font. All canceled, every last one of them. Gents, what do you got to say about the state of this event next week? DangerMouse, what do you think about UFC Seattle and all these cancellations?
I genuinely haven't even looked at the card. Give me a moment to talk to Austin for a second.
All right, Austin, what do you think about this fucking shit that we're gonna have to cover next week?
Is it not the this is just what we do now? Now it's House the Fights. Half of them fall off, and then the other half get replaced. Yeah, why not? Fuck it. We don't care anymore. This is what we do. We'll be fine on fight night because there's going to be enough to talk about. There's usually some stupid shit that happens or some exciting, thing that takes place. And as long as you have like a couple of things that happen on fight night, enough for us to keep talking about, results that give us something to, bounce ideas off of, I think we'll be fine. It's stupid because it never seems to be the case. Like, we should take the UFC at their word every time they said that something's booked or something's in the works, unless they actually get in there on Fight Night, because God forbid, 90% of the time they're full of shit. But that's just part for the course.
6 cancellations. 6. That's fucking nuts. Danger Ross, what do you think? 6 cancellations.
Well, the 6 cancellations, I guess that's extreme even by UFC's levels. That's why I don't look at fight cards before they come up that much. The week before is all I really need to know, unless he was going to fight, and hopefully that those people will fight. It's Cejudo versus Song Yadong, which is a fight I don't really care about anyway. Brendan Allen, Anthony Hernandez. Yeah, I guess that will be quite interesting. Fluffy is pretty good. Allen's kind of hit his wall a little bit, I guess. recently. And the people who've dropped off, honestly, I can't even remember who you said dropped off apart from Dominic Cruz, and that's about the only one I could probably care about. So yeah, big deal. It's just another UFC fight night, and I'll probably find something to talk about the week that it happens, because I did last week. I thought last week's card wasn't great, and then I ended up having a boatload to talk about on it. So yeah, we'll see what happens when it comes. I'm stopping mainly looking forward to cards unless there's something I really, really, really want to see. like Dakota's next fight. That one you can guarantee I'll fucking be there. But otherwise,
there it is.
Yeah, I had to get it in. Tom Aspinall's next fight. Yeah, even if John chickens out, ducks away, runs off into retirement, whoever Tom fights next, I want to see that fight. So I want to see what he's going to do to that poor unfortunate bastard in the cage. So, yeah. So unless it's a fight that really entertains me, yeah, it happens or it doesn't happen, and I'll either enjoy it or I won't when it comes around. I'll give my score at the end of. I'll give my score Sunday next week.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. A lot of those names aren't really the biggest names, but I think kind of the when you accumulate them all together, it is a pretty fucking heavy hit to the card, especially for, like I was saying, this is their big return to Seattle. They haven't been there in I don't know how long. I think it's over a decade. So you probably got a lot of hardcore fans in the area that were really looking forward to this, probably already bought tickets, and to have fucking 6 fights fall off. Like, man, that's fucking rough. Dave, you got anything on UFC Seattle going to shit?
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree. I think you're out to lunch on this one. Seattle card. Kentlin Vieira and Mason Chiasson getting canceled. It's like +1 to the card score automatically. Fugit's still on the card. I have no idea who Islam Dulatov is, so who cares? I mean, a lot of those fights that fell off are like, who cares? And the person I did care about is still on the card. It sucks losing Edson Barboza. And we've already talked about Dom Cruz and Rob Font. That kind of sucks for the people. But, I mean, mostly I'm kind of sad seeing Edson Barboza fall off. But I'm actually happier to see him fall off than to fight Steve Garcia, whoever that is.
The
And
Man
I think
Machine
it's
is
still
on a streak.
Yeah.
Looking at
I think
it's
a great card though. Besides that, because I mean, Fluffy Hernandez is always fun. Cejudo's probably going to lose. Gian Silva is like the new it guy, or not it, but he will be, or he's like on that path. I think a lot of the fights. You lost Cruz and Font, which kind of sucks, but that fight wasn't a great matchup anyway. And you lost Barboza and everything else. It's like,
yeah.
Does anyone in Seattle really care? You still have Fugit fighting Billy Ray Goff now. That's gonna be silly.
You make a fair point there, because we did get to keep some of these guys on the cards just in different matchups. Like Rob Font's still on there, but now he's got a fucking much tougher matchup. He's taking on the undefeated John Matsumoto now, so 16-0. That's tough for Font, man. But and a guy that we did lose completely off this card, Curtis Blades. Well, it would have been nice to see what Curtis could have done.
Font is still fine.
Curtis Blades gets a point on the card for falling off for me too. It's those 2 points.
I don't. Font is not on the wiki page for it. I don't know what it says on top.
Yeah, he's still on there. He got rescheduled. Yeah, against John or Gene Matsumoto.
I will say some people will be happy, but again, on the wiki card that I'm looking at, there are no female fights whatsoever. So,
yeah, there's a portion of the fan base that'll be happy.
Sausage party card.
Bunch of queens.
John Silva though, Gene Silva, Jean Jacket.
My boy. My draft.
And Javid
I hope he loses.
I think he was going to be somebody, wasn't he? Oh, he lost as a hobby though. You guys remember Bashrat, don't you?
I was just more or less shocked that even by UFC standards, that's a ton of fucking fights to fall off or get changed. Either way, it'll be fun. It'd be nice to be back in Seattle. Seattle deserves a card there. Good city, so shout out Seattle, except for the fucking asshole AL.
Is he from Seattle?
His fucking YouTube avatar is the Seattle Sky Needle, so I always assume he's from Seattle. Fuck him. Piece of shit. Nobody likes that guy. He's about as beloved as Lord of the Pies.
I can't believe
Yeah.
Price was talking about the politics Discord. And I was like, how the hell can you handle being in the politics Discord?
Dude fucking loves to argue.
I mean, he is the dude that put Keyshawn into hiding after like berating him. I'm like, you must be a problem if you're capable of doing that.
Oh, that's gonna be it for the
God.
pre-show banter, folks.